So a couple days ago, I was going curbside shopping, as I so typically do, although not often these days. I often don't have time to, because I have a full-time job and everything. But this day I did. This was a couple days ago, and I found these two machines, one right after the other. So we're going to take a look at these over the next couple videos and see what all they need. Starting off with the Bissell PowerForce Helix. They've also got the Hoover Whole House. I can't read it because there's a cat in the way, but Whole House something wind tunnel. And we'll see if I can get these fixed up, just for some cheap basic vacuums that somebody might want. I don't know why the potato is so drawn to this one. But yeah, so we've got a couple machines here. I'll take a look at the Bissell first, and then we'll take a look at the Hoover and see what all they need. The Bissells definitely appear to be in better shape of the two. Rocco, what are you doing? You've been sniffing that thing for the past minute. You're still sniffing it. Rocco. Sir, why are you sniffing it? Are you licking it? Why are you licking it? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Bonk. 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 Stop licking it. No, sir. No, that's not. No. I mean, it's just rainwater, but stop it. Stop it. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. So we're going to take a look at this terrible Bissell. This one's the purple 2191U model. And I've seen so many of these that I have that model number memorized. Both its cord hooks are intact, yet the cord is not wrapped up for some ungodly reason. Unsure as to why this one was thrown out. But the brush roll looks pretty disgusting. Oh, broken belt. That brush roll spins freely. So brush roll's good. Was this literally thrown out just because of a broken belt? Or was there also a clog? Let's find out. Alright. We will open this. Filter's not even that bad, honestly. I've seen much worse. Almost like they cleaned it recently in an attempt to eradicate the lack of pickup performance. But yeah, so I'll give it a run real quick and see if that's all it needs. It's just a belt and a clean. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, sounds fine. Yeah, works. So this works flawlessly. It just needs a belt. There is a little bit. There's a couple spots. The cord's a bit chewed up. Honestly, there's no copper showing. This thing is probably just gonna get some electrical tape thrown on it, and I might even throw a set of attachments on it since I probably have some extras. And just flip it real quick. But yeah, so that's that. Pretty simple. Just so that'll get fixed up. I'm not even gonna bother really showing the process. I mean, I've shown how to replace belts on these, and it's all gonna get stripped apart and washed. So I mean, yeah, so pretty simple. But I mean, I guess I could show the process, but again, I don't have a tripod, so I can't really show all of it. But you know, I could do a little bit. So as we suspected, this is a 2019 model, 8 amps, made on the 325th day, so right at the end of 2019. So this thing's not very old. It's about 5 years old at this point. So I would suspect they probably ran it with that original belt for about 5 years and gave up and statistically bought a shark. Rocco, what are you doing? Stop licking this. Rocco, stop it. Stop it. Alright, so now I'm going to take off this base plate. Alright, got all 6 screws out. This one in the corner was a little bit loose, which makes me think they might have attempted to start unscrewing this to pull the cover off and just decided they didn't want to deal with it, which to me is incredibly wasteful and gross, but whatever. Yeah, just throw it away. Just, you know, if it needs something basic, just throw it away. You know, like, at the very least, like, throw it on Marketplace for free or something and let someone pick it up, you know? And, of course, as you'd expect, this thing sat in the rain, so there's some random junk here and stuff, but, yeah, that motor spindle is rusty for some ungodly reason. I'm not sure why. But, yeah. So, brush roll is in good shape, just ever so slight cleaning, no real issues with it or anything. So we're gonna pop that out. Well, I guess I don't really have to pop it out because it'll come off when we wash it. But yeah, so now I'll pop off the cleaner head. This is really dirty, so I'm just gonna wash the whole thing. And from there we should be good. I'll take apart the cyclone and all that and get all that working. And the filter and everything, and that should be good. This thing was definitely clogged at one point because there's a big clump of hair where the suction relief valve is. That's great for the motor. If I can get that off there. There we go. Pull it off. I'm still going to wash this. But yeah, that is really rusty. I wonder if I could scrub that off. Should be fine. Alright, so about a half hour later, a bunch of stuff is clean. We'll take our little, sure there's no hair on it. We'll take our little suction relief filter. Make sure that's in there. Just like that. Sure it's resting up against where it's supposed to. Then we'll put those 4 screws in, plus the one in the back to hold the lower hose. So this is the first time that I've ever fixed one of these and the little metal belt guard just fell out. I've actually never had that happen before. And I honestly haven't really paid attention to where it's gone because it's never fallen out before. It's probably not important, but I believe it goes in somewhere. It might just wrap around this plastic part, but it feels like a giant staple. Yeah. Huh? I think it goes in that way, I believe. Yeah, there we go. So that's on there, so we'll go ahead and grab a new belt. Now this video isn't a tutorial, so I'll try to remember to show everything anyways, because if I don't, people will complain. So that slides in right there. And this vacuum has cost me nothing so far. And technically it hasn't, because I haven't paid anything directly for this. There's one part I will replace, and that's this, the belt. Found this one at Goodwill for $1. It's one of the belts. Person used one of the belts, donated the other one. This packaging is so old that it doesn't even mention this machine, but it is in fact the same belt. Copyright 2006. Electrolux Home Care Products in Bloomington, Illinois. Hey, that's not too far from me. Okay, that's cool. So, we'll go ahead and use this belt. Doesn't appear to be dry rotted or anything. I honestly kind of want to save this for one of my other machines, since I usually really like these belts. Probably doesn't matter. But, yeah, so $1 I paid for this belt. We're going to go ahead and put it on. Alright. Brush roll spins freely. Belt looks good. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, now, about 30 minutes later, got this all back together with a new belt. Now, obviously I just washed it, so I toweled everything off, but it's not going to be 100% dry, but that's okay. I'll just run it real quick, and then any moisture that is in the piping that gets sucked into the bin should get stopped before it gets to the filter, so then I can just pull the actual bin off, wash it again, and then it should all be dried out. It's like a reverse blow dry, essentially. So we'll go ahead and plug this in and give it a whirl. Alright, I don't want to run it too long because there is a little bit of moisture in it now, but I don't want that to get sucked into the motor. Doesn't look like it did, but it is running, and that belt is doing just fine. So I'll definitely let this machine dry out. I'll probably dry this out again, and from there we should be good. So yeah, about an hour of work maybe, and this PowerForce Helix is now restored to pretty much brand new condition. Not quite, I mean it's scratched up, but you know, thankfully very little of it actually required scrubbing. A lot of it was just spraying it down with Zep degreaser, letting it sit for a bit, and then rinsing it. Now obviously I did scrub this window a little bit, so, and of course I did spray the filters down. I know I said filters, but I mean, because technically there are two filters in here, but I didn't even bother checking those. I mean, it should be fine. But yeah, so that's all back together. I'm not sure if I'm going to bother trying to find a set of attachments for it, because I don't know if I have any extra wands. I know I have an extra crevice tool and an extra brush, but it wouldn't make sense to put the easiest to lose attachments on here and not have the other two, so I don't know, I might not bother. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. But yeah, so I mean, that's fully good. So just a pretty basic little tune-up service. It's 2019, so it's, you know, 5 years old, and it'll happily go on for another 5 years. At least if I've got anything to say about it. And then it's in all of its purple glory. Should I keep this? I don't really want it, but I mean, I could always keep it and slap a longer cord on it and put one of the stretch hoses on it if I wanted to. But if I'm going to do that, I might as well just do that with the bagged one. This bagged one already has a stretch hose, and just put a extension cord on it and be done with it. I really wish they made the bagged one in this purple. I would definitely have one if that was the case. I really love this purple color, and I actually do like this more than the newer model that I reviewed, because this one, yes, the squeegee does help the new model on bare floors, but this one doesn't drag as much on carpets. It's a lot easier to push and pull. And beyond that, they're identical, so there isn't really much other to mention. But yeah, very nice, lightweight, basic machine. Again, I always recommend the turbo version over this because you get 2 feet longer of cord, you get a much more usable hose, and a proper dual cyclonic cassette for $10 more. So I never recommend buying this version. I always say spend the extra couple bucks and get the turbo if you absolutely want one of these, or just get the bagged version. But yeah, just, you know, another one of these on the channel, and it probably won't be the last one with how many of these are out there. But it's always a pleasure to work on these, because it takes me, you know, no time at all to strip this thing apart. You know, I know this thing like the back of my hand, and, you know, just a nice basic vacuum to work on. Don't have to worry about anything expensive like clutches or secondary motors, or it's all just basic upright. So nothing really to worry about. Just slap a belt on it and you're good to go. So anyways, this is Inteltech Studios in my $1 Bissell PowerForce Helix, because the vacuum was free and the only thing I paid for was the belt that was $1. So $1, and I got a fully working machine that I can easily use for a decade if I wanted to. especially if I wanted to slap some attachments on it and an extension cord. I could totally daily drive this thing. Would I prefer this over the bad unit? No, but this is at least tolerable. Again, it's teetering on the edge. Again, the dual cyclonic versions of these are much better, and those are actually tolerable. Like, tolerable as a daily machine. I know because I've done it before. This one, less so. It's just a basic single cyclone, and the filter, as a result, does get a lot dirtier, and as a result, leak a little bit more dust. It's not a huge difference, but again, it is enough for me to dissuade people from buying this version over the Helix Turbo. Or just a bad unit like the Sanitaire SL4110A. But that's it. This is Inteltech Studios signing out. Let me know your thoughts on this machine in the comments below. I'm sure my audience would love to say their thoughts on this machine. And that's pretty much that. Have a good one. Peace.